You are Locked On 76ers Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This right here is Locked On Sports Philadelphia with your Locked On 76ers Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. It's a Christmas miracle. It's a Maxey and Martin Christmas miracle. It's what it is, babe. With the 76ers beating the Boston Celtics 118-114 in Boston as part of the NBA's Christmas marathon of hoops. Oh my goodness gracious. Caleb Martin was en fuego in tonight's ballgame. He was shooting the Boston Celtics' eyes out, is what he was doing. And then Tyrese Maxey was like, do you guys give up or are you thirsty for more? And then the Boston fans were like, ah! It was fantastic how the Sixers took it to the Celtics tonight. Of course, it was too close at the end for my liking. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The Sixers went on a 21-4 run late in that ball game that helped ice it. And all the while, Tyrese Maxey was on top of his game. Caleb Martin played the game of his life against this Boston Celtics team. And Nick Nurse, you beautiful, beautiful man that looks like a grown-up Ralphie from A Christmas Story. All right? He goes up there. And he actually calls for that 1/10 of a, actually 2/10 of a second. He calls for 2/10 of a second when the ball goes out of bounds and there's 0.9 left on the clock. And he goes, no. I want my 2/10 of a second. I want my 2/10 of a second. He calls it. The referees come over. They say, give me 2/10 of a second. They put 2/10 of a second back on the clock. So it goes from 0.9 to 1.1. And Maxey, you beautiful human. You dribble the lane. You lose it for a second. You regroup. You put it off the back and you're in. Just like that with 0.1 seconds left on the clock. A thing of beauty for the Sixers to notch this win tonight. You are watching Locked On 76ers Postcast right here on Locked On Sports Philadelphia. My name is Mark Farzetta. Your favorite podcast now is a newsletter introducing the Locked On 76ers daily newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On 76ers newsletter. This particular show is sponsored by Game Time, the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app and create an account and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Let's get it in. 3 big things. Number 1, I love that Tyrese Maxey struggling so much a year ago on Christmas against the Miami Heat, against Caleb Martin in the Miami Heat, factored into his game today. Now, the Sixers were doing interviews as part of preparation for this game earlier in the week when they were still in Philadelphia, probably around either right before probably right before they played the Spurs. So they're doing interviews at the practice facility in Camden, and they're interviewing Tyrese Maxey. Hey, Tyrese, what's it feel like playing on Christmas Day? And he's like, well, it's great and all, but, last year I was terrible on Christmas Day, so I'd like to change my tidings, I guess, on Christmas. So sure enough, what does he do? He goes out there and in total drops in 33 points for your 10-9-8 76ers, including 12 assists in the ball game, and also has 3 rebounds. But what was so beautiful about the play of Tyrese Maxey wasn't just the quantity, it was the quality. And we talk about that all the time. Maxey comes up early in the fourth quarter with a 3. Boston goes on takes a timeout. After that helped the Sixers lead into an 8-0 run to start things out in the fourth quarter. They go up 90-84 at this point. Maxey then comes out of the timeout. He's able to hit a jumper. Then next possession, he hits another jumper, this one on a driving play where he pulls up and knocks down the jumper. Kyle Lowry comes down at one point. He knocks down a 3, which is great to see. At the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter, Maxey gets another driving layup, 105-90 in favor of the Sixers. Then all of a sudden, Derrick White starts to heat up for the Celtics. Celtics end up getting a 3 from Derrick White. Nick Nurse calls a timeout. All of a sudden, before you blink, it's an 8-point game. Now the Sixers start to go a little bit on the defensive. Jayson Tatum goes up there, gets a second chance layup. It makes it a 6-0 Boston run. It's like, it's not much. Sixers are still up 8. They're still doing something here. Maxey starts to falter a little bit. He has 2 turnovers, one courtesy of a backcourt. I agree with what they were saying on the TV. It just didn't look like he knew where he was on the court, but he would gather after that, after back-to-back turnovers that made it a 3-point game. Embiid comes into the game. George checks into the game. They try slowing things down a little bit, but really nothing is stopping the Celtics' fury. Maxey comes over with that turnover. Again, it goes to a 3-point game. Sixers end up having to call a timeout when Boston made it an 11-0 run. And then Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey helped quiet things down at the TD Bank Garden in Boston. What ended up happening was you got Embiid going up there, D'ing up Tatum on a turnover. Ended up being a missed layup, then a kick out to Al Horford, who missed the three. Embiid comes down with the rebound. They go down the other end of the court with the Sixers are up 5 points at this point in the game. Tyrese Maxey goes up for the layup. This is off that timeout. Off that out-of-bounds play. With 1:09 left in that fourth quarter, this is where Maxey really started. Didn't really start to shine, but shine the brightest. And Nick Nurse goes over and has that time discrepancy. Pointing to his watch, gets his 0.2 of a second back on the clock. They inbound the ball to Maxey. Maxey drives the lane. He's able to get it up. He's able to make the layup. Makes it 112 to 105 with 1:09 remaining in the ballgame. Later, Maxey would go to the free throw line. He'd knock down both free throws, made it a 14-5 game. Embiid ended up turning the ball over. Tatum gets the lay-in, but still the Sixers were able to close out this victory mainly because of how Tyrese Maxey was able to perform in its entirety throughout the four quarters and how he was able to perform with the exception of those 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter throughout that fourth quarter. 33 points, 12 assists for Tyrese Maxey. Absolutely love to see it from him tonight. Number 2, my man, pots and pans, Caleb Martin. Now, here's the deal. He's back in the starting lineup. KJ Martin, who had been playing well, is out with injury. Caleb Martin is up there. He's getting an opportunity to play on Christmas Day, just like Tyrese Maxey. Now, this time around, he's a starter, and he's in the lineup here for the Sixers, and he happens to have his best game of the season. 23 points, 7 of 9 from 3. And in that fourth quarter, when the Sixers were really trying to establish themselves again, when the Celtics started showing some signs of life after closing out that third quarter rather well, being able to win that third quarter, I believe it was 24-16. They come back, they tie the game at 82. Caleb Martin starts that fourth quarter by knocking down a 3. Then Caleb Martin at the 7:22 mark of the fourth quarter drills a prayer of a bank shot 3. This ended up being an 18-2 Sixers run, makes it 100-86. Caleb Martin then comes down the floor on the other possession. On the very next possession, he knocks down another 3 for his 6th 3 of the game, makes it 103-88. And he just kept on cooking. He would knock down his 7th and final 3 of the game at the 4:29 mark of the fourth quarter that made it a 108-94 lead. This is essentially, it's the Celtics. They would pull close. They would wipe off that 21-4 Sixers run sooner rather than later with Jaylen Brown and obviously Jayson Tatum and Derrick White. They would start knocking down their shots, and they did. But you had to make sure you built that lead up as much as possible to withstand the inevitable Celtics run. But that inevitable Celtics run was not enough, thanks to the sharp shooting, 7 of 9 from the floor from Caleb Martin. To round out the top 3, I do have to mention the big man, Joel Embiid. Like Maxey, had a couple of costly turnovers, but they weren't costly enough. Caleb Martin, 23 points. 7 of 9 from 3, 8 of 11 from the floor in general. He really picked up, by the way, for Paul George. More on him later, who shot 4 of 15 from the floor, 0 for 7 from beyond the arc. But Joel Embiid tonight, 9 rebounds, 8 on the defensive side, 27 points in 31 minutes, 8 of 15, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. 76ers were cooking tonight from the charity stripe. You absolutely love to see it. And Joel Embiid, the best thing I saw from Joel Embiid. Now, you saw it there earlier. Excuse me, as I got to do something there. You saw it earlier in the game when Joel Embiid was getting a break in that second quarter. I was wondering when Nick Nurse was going to put him back in. We'll talk about it a little bit more with Nick Nurse's brilliance in this game. But there was one point in the game where Joel Embiid was starting to really knock down some threes. He was starting to get hot. He was starting to play well under the rim as well. He was basically being every ounce of Joel Embiid. But the best play for him, as far as I'm concerned, was with just under 2 minutes remaining in the game. And it was the play I was describing earlier. Joel Embiid stays with Jayson Tatum as Jayson Tatum is driving to the rim. Sixers are only up about four points at this time. Embiid D's up Jayson Tatum, I thought he blocked the shot. He did not block. He did not get credit for a block on this. But the ball ends up going out to Al Horford, who's open for the corner three. Al Horford, former Sixer, lets it rip, clanks off the rim. Jaylen's Johnny on the spot, pulls up the rebound, and the Sixers were able, for the most part, to control the game after that. Huge possession there. Huge defensive stop there for the 76ers, all thanks to Joel Embiid's defensive play. Now, 27 points is great. 4 of 5 from beyond the arc is great. 7 of 7 from the line is great. But when you're talking about a clutch performance, somebody stepping up in the clutch, that's exactly what Joel Embiid did at the 150 mark of the fourth quarter when he stopped Tatum and then was able to get the defensive rebound as well. Sixers weren't in full control from that point on, but they helped control from that point out thanks to the play of those three players as the game went on. When we come back, I'm going to talk about Nick Nurse. I'm also going to talk about Paul George, but all in all, the best win by far for the Sixers. The funniest thing about this game tonight, the funniest thing about this win, it's pretty easy to tell. This was not the Charlotte Hornets the Sixers were beating tonight. This was the reigning NBA champions, the Boston Celtics, 22-7 going into tonight's game against the 10-17 76ers that now win their 11th of the season thanks to this 118-114 win over the Celtics. When we come back, why, oh why, Nick Nurse coached such a brilliant game tonight, and then the not-so-great part of tonight's game, Paul George. Talk about that in a few when we come back. This is Locked On 76ers Postcast on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. I know that game was fun to watch. What about being at a game? That's where we got to use the Game Time app. During the holiday season, New Year's now right around the corner. And yes, I hope you guys all had a wonderful holiday. Christmas, what I celebrate. Hope you guys had a wonderful holiday. Game Time is focused on togetherness throughout the holiday season, including New Year's. That means you bring people together at live sporting events. Why not? Experience all that every sporting action and sporting event is, and it's the perfect gift with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA, and use the feature Game Time Picks to filter out the fluff so you get the best seats for the best prices to all live events, concerts, comedy show, and of course, your games for your 10-9-8 76ers. Game Time Picks filters out all that fluff so you see just the best of the best for the best prices on the best seats. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. You can view the seat before you buy it. And how about this? The Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and same row for less money elsewhere, the Game Time app will refund your account 110% of the difference. That's the Game Time guarantee. They have last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. That's the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Game time. Rocket Money. Hope you guys are taking advantage. Did Rocket Money help you find any subscriptions you forgot about or that you were paying for twice? Oh, no. That definitely happened to me. And Rocket Money helped me out. I had a few subscriptions that I didn't realize I was still paying for, and it happens to a lot of us, more than most, unfortunately. Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down, save me big bucks. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances and for your financial apps. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions or spending habits. Our spending habits can get crazy, especially during the holidays. Even the goals you want to hit this year, Rocket Money will help you reach those goals. Rocket has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscription savings. Remember, it saves members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. That's the Rocket Money apps. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/locked on today. That's rocketmoney.com/locked on today. rocketmoney.com/locked on. Check it out. Real quick, I'm getting this from Locked On 76ers Daily podcast host Keith Pompey and writer for Inquirer.com. Tyrese Maxey is the first Sixers player ever to post 30 points and 10 assists in a Christmas Day game, while Caleb Martin's 7 3-pointers are a new Philadelphia Christmas miracle. I'm sorry, record. How about that? Love to see it. Where should I go? Should I go to positive? Should I go to the negative first? I'm going to go to the negative first. All right, just so I could bring it up the rear here with the positive, okay? Hey, Paul George, are you okay, bro? Are you okay? I'll give you the stats one more time on Paul George. 34 minutes of action tonight. 4 of 15 from the floor. 0 of 7 from beyond the arc. 4 of 4 from the free throw line. And you know what? As the seconds were ticking off the clock and he went to the free throw line, boy, oh boy, needed someone to come up big. And Paul George was certainly able to do that with about 6 minutes remaining in the game. 3-point game. Paul George makes 2 of 2 free throws. So that was nice. But this has been a long run here for Paul George where he has not exactly been shooting the basketball well. If you look at his last handful of games, his shooting woes have carried over one to the other. He had a phenomenal game the other night where he was able to drop in a 33 points, a Sixers career high for him against the Charlotte Hornets. But again, that was just something you look at where you go, okay, you're playing the Charlotte Hornets, so just do everything you're supposed to do in that particular game. And Paul George did exactly what he was supposed to do in that game. 33 points on 13 of 20 shooting, was also 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. That's a hell of a shooting night for Paul George. The healthiest he looked, the most spry he looked, the quickest he has looked. And then since that game, he hasn't gone over the 20-point mark. Forget about the 30 mark. He hasn't gone over the 20-point mark yet since that game. And when you listen to his shooting totals here, 4 of 15 against the Celtics tonight, 6 of 16 against the Spurs the other night, 4 of 12 against the Cavaliers, and then 2 of 12 in their last meeting. And remember, it was a back-to-back games there on a Monday and a Friday against the Charlotte Hornets. He went 2 for 12 against the Hornets in that second and final game against them this season for just 5 points on the night. That entire stretch of games since that 33-point night, now 4 games, you're talking about a guy who has shot just 4 for 25. 4 for 25 from beyond the arc. Not great, PG. Not great. Injury-wise, I don't know if it's that. He looked really healthy against the Charlotte Hornets on that Monday game on the 16th, and then did not look so great 4 days later. Ever since then, he has not looked like the Paul George I'd hoping we would see after having maybe a get-right game, if you will, against the Charlotte Hornets. He struggled tonight, but on the positive end of things, if he's going to struggle, you need somebody else to step up, not named Joel Embiid and not named Tyrese Maxey. The man that did it tonight was Caleb Martin. Great to see that from him. That's a positive. So negative, positive, now another positive. This was the best game, okay, for the Sixers all season. This tonight was the best game for the Sixers all season. Nothing compares. You beat the Celtics, crying out loud. Nick Nurse coached his best game of the season tonight. Whether it was fighting for those 0.2 of a second, or it was well-placed timeouts, or it was even getting what would be, I know it was the first quarter, but he used his challenge, 4 minutes into the game? 4 minutes, and he was right, and he won it. And then later on in the basketball game, he is saving Joel Embiid and Paul George. This was so fascinating because he did the same thing in the second quarter. Joel Embiid and Paul George did not check back into the game in that second quarter until the 6:30 mark, the 6:39 mark of the second quarter. That's a little bit longer than normal. Usually you're seeing him in there around the 8-minute mark, maybe the 7:30 mark. So this is a whole minute after he usually checks him back in. But then this was absolutely bonkers to see Paul George and Joel Embiid not check in at the 8-minute mark of the fourth quarter, not check in at the 6:30 mark of the fourth quarter, but Paul George and Joel Embiid did not check in till the 4:47 mark of the fourth quarter. Now, part of the reason they were able to do that, again, because Tyrese Maxey was playing so well. Kyle Lowry even hit a 3 for you in this basketball game tonight, folks. But the other reason is that Caleb Martin was hitting his shots. So if those guys were going to cook, and you were getting contributions from even Reggie Jackson, who contributed sparingly tonight, but contributed, or Kyle Lowry tonight, then you could afford to not have Joel Embiid in. Now, while I was watching this game, and I'm watching the Sixers have this 15-point lead at the 6-minute mark of the fourth quarter, I'm thinking, all right, well, Joel Embiid and Paul George haven't even checked in yet, mainly Joel Embiid. And if you need someone to control the game, if you need someone to control the pace of play, if you need someone to get points, that's JoJo. He'll get fouled. He'll go to the line. He'll control. Unfortunately, what ended up happening was there was a lot of transition play that Joel Embiid unfortunately couldn't keep up with. 2 points in particular, two shots in particular that cut that lead to 8 points and then later 4 points was the unfortunate turnovers of Tyrese Maxey. But Joel Embiid had one bad turnover that led into a Jayson Tatum layup with I believe it was less than a minute remaining in the game. And you saw that come back to bite the Sixers just a little bit before Joel Embiid was able to go back to the free throw line and start knocking down some free throws. And all in all, that was the difference. And I don't have it in my notes, so I have to go back to the game play-by-play here. But it went down to the driving layup to Jayson Tatum was 1:28 left in the game. Excuse me. I'll get it for you. So you have the Joel Embiid turnover right under the basket. It was on an inbounds play. Now, at this moment, I'm really hoping that they're out of magic, But you saw Jaylen Brown come down with a driving layup. They made it 114-111 and still in favor of the Sixers. Derrick White takes the personal foul. Paul George goes 2 for 2 from the foul line, makes it 116-111. Jaylen Brown comes down and hits a 3. Now, at this point, it's a 2-point game. 2-point game. They inbound the ball to Joel Embiid, who then gets fouled to ice the game with 2 seconds left, making both free throws, making it a 4-point game. But just earlier, 40 seconds left in the game. Jayson Tatum, 45 seconds left after Tyrese Maxey knocked down back-to-back free throws. They come down the other end. Joel Embiid gets the ball on the inbounds play, loses the ball. Jayson Tatum picks it up with 40 seconds left. Thunder slam. 114-109. Sixers now only up 5 points. Anything can happen at this point in the game. I believe at this point, the Celtics also had 2 timeouts left. Then they go down the other end. Jaylen Brown's able to make another driving layup. He went nuts in the second half. Only had 2 points in the first quarter, I believe. In the first half. Came out in the second half just ready to fire. Where is it? I have that in my notes. Yeah, Brown in the first half only had 2 points. Came out and had 16 points in the third quarter. And in the entire second half, he just started lighting it up. This was one of the examples of that. He ends up making this layup, and all of a sudden he starts sweating it a little bit as a 76ers fan with how the Celtics were starting to put things together. But it all came down again to some made free throws by Joel Embiid to help put the game out of reach, finally, for your 76ers. All in all, surviving this game in Boston tonight, 118-114. When we come back, we'll take a look at your comments, and we'll also praise some other guys, one in particular that had to be feeling good about being back in Boston tonight. That's when we come back on Locked On Sports Philadelphia and the Locked On 76ers Postcast. I'm Mark Farzetta. Hit like and subscribe at a Locked On 76ers Postcast and Locked On Sports Philadelphia. Like and subscribe at a Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Back after this. FanDuel. Hope you guys are having a great time with FanDuel. Get ready for the rest of the NFL season, what's left of it, and the NFL postseason. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL, all in one place. So if you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the very same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today to get in on this action. Like the Lions going off right now to win the Super Bowl at plus 390, the Kansas City Chiefs at plus 450, Buffalo Bills at plus 470, your Philadelphia Eagles going off at plus 650 right now. And MVP of the season, Lamar Jackson might have helped his case a little bit more tonight, but at least by this point, he's going off at plus 380. Josh Allen still in the lead at minus 450. Saquon Barkley at plus 1,500. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet with FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Before I get to our chat check, Gershon Yabusele tonight, 12 points, 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, 4 of 9 from the floor. Of course, a former first-round pick, 7 years ago by the Boston Celtics? And Guerschon Yabusele tonight, Johnny on the spot in a number of instances. Great to see him play the way that he played tonight. 4 rebounds to go along with that, 21 minutes played. I doubt many Boston people are looking at Guerschon Yabusele like, oh, man, one that got away. It's been a minute. But you got to think for the player himself, who is enjoying one heck of a return to the NBA. He had to enjoy every second of tonight's win. It all comes full circle from Boston to France, now to Philadelphia, and in Boston tonight to hand the Celtics their first back-to-back losses of the season. Love to see it. All right, let's get into the chat. Check and see how your wonderful people are doing. Ari, happy Hanukkah, Ari. Big upset, hell yeah. Bam Man 100, they actually pulled it off. Sixers went into Boston and beat the Celtics. Biggest win of the season at a time where every game is for the season. Let's not forget Bam Man 100. Who's been saying all year this team's making the playoffs? This guy. I'm going to puff my chest out for a second. Sixers are making the playoffs. That's happening. I knew that before tonight, and I know that a little bit more, even after tonight. Feels good. Caleb Martin had himself a game. He absolutely did. Jamie Slack, Celtics suck. Can confirm, Celtics suck. BC with his Lakers stuff, blah, 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 bloobity, blah. It's fine. The Celtics still own y'all in the playoffs. Oh, this is a Boston fan. Sawyer Sports. Yeah, that's true. But all that really matters is tonight. Yes, the playoffs matter more. No question about that. But I don't own a time machine, so I can't go to the future and beat the Celtics then. And I can't go to the past and tell Brian Colangelo to not draft Markelle Fultz and draft Jayson Tatum. But, that's that. Eight crazy three-pointers. Well, he only made 7, but that is funny. Whatever. Farzy back. Jason A. What's up, Jason A? Nice to see you. Jason A. Caleb Martin was on fire. I knew he would start looking like the pickup we needed. There you go, Jason A. Love to see every second of that. Here's something I got for you. And this was another thing that came out of, I guess, pregame interviews with Tyrese Maxey. And this isn't great, but he didn't play like this tonight. When they were they throw it to the sideline reporter during a game, and they throw it to the sideline reporter today. I don't know her name. And they throw it to her, and she's talking about Tyrese Maxey. I don't know anyone's name. The only person whose name I remember is Tim Legler. So they throw it to her, and she's like, Tyrese Maxey was injured earlier in the season, and things were really struggling. There's a team meeting, and Tyrese said that he had to rediscover his love for basketball. I said, say what now? The last time I heard that was Ben Simmons. So I am in no way, shape, or form comparing Tyrese Maxey to Ben Simmons. I'm just saying is all. The last time I was like, wait, hold on. There was a player that said, was it Joel Embiid that said that he did? And I'm like, no, it was Ben Simmons. And then I thought about it. Tyrese Maxey's rediscovering of love of basketball is a far cry from Ben Simmons if he ever loved basketball, trying to rediscover it. And then I like watching Tyrese Maxey play into tonight's game and 18 points at halftime. Yeah. Him and Embiid both had 18 points at halftime. I'm like, I don't have to worry about anything. Like, he might've conveyed his point in an odd way, but I never see anything but love for the game. And not just that, love of winning from Tyrese Maxey. And I've made a big deal about him arguing for foul calls over the last couple of weeks. I've made a big deal about his play in general, as anybody should, especially with you never know if he's playing Joel Embiid. But Tyrese Maxey has taken a huge step forward this year. And I don't know how many times he can continue to take huge steps forward. It's unbelievable. I mean, I would describe this, the year 1 to year 2 from Jalen Hurts as a starter to year 2 as him as a starter, as a Hurtsian leap, MVP candidate, all that. Tyrese Maxey. I remember like watching Tyrese Maxey his rookie year and just thinking he's not getting enough of an opportunity thanks to Doc Rivers, and also because what was he going to do? Take over for point guard at that point from Ben Simmons when Doc Rivers and the organization are lobbying for Ben Simmons to get all-star consideration and, yes, become an all-star as well? No, he's not going to get consideration for play. But you knew there was talent there. Then the following season, he's allowed a lot more room. His ceiling gets elevated. He's got a lot more room to grow because of the Ben Simmons fiasco, and he grows, and he looks great. And then he becomes an all-star. He becomes the NBA's most improved player. And I kept on saying, wait a minute, now that he's playing this much, how much better can he really get? Because I believe he was really good to begin with. He just wasn't given the amount of runway to not pad stats by any means, but still accumulate stats that a player of his talent should be accumulating. And he just keeps getting better. And now he's got this other opportunity as a guy that's trying to take over the number one scorer on this team, with or without Joel Embiid. Trying to overtake that, and now he's learning to play with Paul George. Now he's learning to play again with this brand of basketball from Joel Embiid and this roster around him right now. I just continue to see these huge Maxian leaps from Tyrese Maxey every single year, and tonight was another example of that. Love to see that from Tyrese Maxey. I have a couple more guys I want to get in here. Keith Kendrick, Knick fan here. So great win, Philly. Thank you. Look at us. Look at that. It's a Christmas miracle, Keith. Now we're getting along. What else? Bandman 100. We're getting any Philly stuff on the Farzi show soon? We'll get some Philly stuff going, Bandman. Don't you worry. Go Birds, says Ari Stein. Go Birds, indeed. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Oh, here we go, BC. Look at us. We're getting along too. Go Lakers, but you're saying the Celtics are trash? We got Knicks fans in here. We got Celtics fans in here. We're all getting along. Another Christmas miracle. Thanks for watching, everybody. You guys are fantastic. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. That's like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. The 76ers, I don't even know. I meant to look earlier, but the 11 and 17 76ers are off for the next couple of days. They're going to be back at it in Utah. Now they travel to Utah to take on the Jazz or the Yaz. That goes off 9:30. Oh, is that Friday night? Or is that Saturday night? That's Saturday night. Okay. So, yeah, Saturday night, take on the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are 7-21 at this point in the season. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. My name is Mark Farzetta. Have a great, phenomenal rest of your evening. Happy holidays, everybody. Talk to you guys Saturday night. See you then. Bye.